a good mix ranging from Princeton University to 3M Corporation, so that covers her. And then the USA, covering Argentina, Chile, Canada, EMEA, and APAC. APAC, we have people represented Australia, China, India, Japan, South Korea, and Thailand. So we have a good spread of people across the region. And it's constantly evolving. Like every year, when we have the board meeting itself, something or someone mentioned something and we try to improve on it. So what happened last year was that we began with this thing called subject chairs. Previously, there weren't such subject chairs. We had board members, 30 board members, everyone giving their feedback. And then we say, look, perhaps can we sort of drill it down to something more specific? We have subject chairs. And these subject chairs have the authority or ability to reach out to other people, okay? Other reviewers, they want an additional opinion or third opinion. And then we introduced the score sheet, the Scopus title evaluation platform. Okay, and this score sheet really helps people drill down and say, okay, these are the criteria. If I can meet these criteria, perhaps my journal can be improved. As we went through different countries and when we talked to these different people, they've given me feedback saying that, hey, yeah, you know, I realized it. I realized that previously mine wasn't that regular, but I thought my journal was good. But after looking at your criteria, I realized that it's not that fantastic. So can I retract it? Can I redo it? Can I improve on it? So bottom line is, we're trying to help people. Okay? I want to help the countries that I go to see how we can actually collaborate. And then we share with you all this information. If I can help you, maybe I can get someone to help you in your question. So for general overview, you can click to this on this site, www.info.cybers.com, the one that Andy mentioned earlier on, /Scopus/CSAP, and you'll be able to find out a bit more. This is how the screenshot is like. We just pause for a moment. I noticed some of you still copying down this thing. So it's info.cybers.com/Scopus/CSAP. So it gives you a broad overview of Scopus, and it also gives you some details about the CSAP. So this is how the site looks like. So every time you'll see different faces as we rotate members out of the thing, we get new members into the board, and then we refresh the whole thing, and then everything changes here. So we've just gone one round. So we have this thing called Cybers. So it's now called Cybers Scopus. Scopus sits within the suite, the solution suite of Cybers. So it's called Cybers Scopus. So if you hear people saying Cybers Scopus and they say Scopus, it's the same thing actually. Yeah? You said that Scopus sits under the Cybers platform. So that's the site. These are the 14 subject chairs as at 2010. We have people from the Netherlands, Her Spickman, right down to someone from India, Professor Ashok Raina, covering various disciplines. And this is a wall of all our board members. And we've got one CSAB member from APAC, and that is Dr. Evan Bisk from University of Melbourne, Australia. He is actually the CSAB subject chair for physics and astronomy, chemistry, chemical engineering, energy, and material sciences. So if we talk about chemistry, he's the man. And who is he? In case you still do not know who he is, that's how he looks like over there. And that's him in person over there in the third row, in the middle. Okay, with that, thank you.
We have time for some questions and stretching. Is there anyone who would like to ask questions for the two speakers about Scopus? May I ask a question? How do you choose your board members? Do you have any in the social science?
We have, let me go back. In terms of how we choose the board members, you could see this is a broad guideline of the criteria. Okay, so they need to be relatively well known or someone who's very experienced or respected in the field. That's one of the criteria itself. They have tried to help us with all these things. Okay, this is the general guideline. But obviously most of the time we get referrals. People say, look, this guy is really good. And some of our board members themselves, they know of people in their field who are really spectacular. And they say, can you reach out to them? And we've also got one board member who's also a Nobel laureate nominee. So you could see the caliber and standard of these people. Okay?
Do you have any from the social sciences and the humanities?
Social sciences, right now I think there is, yes. We do have it.
Yes.
I can actually show you some other questions which was raised by some people. These are some of the questions that were fairly common. That was raised much earlier. First question was, when will the source acquisition team contact me? Okay, they are very excited once they submit the journal. So the answer is, publishers are contacted by the source team after a title is accepted for inclusion in Scopus. Because they think that once I submit, thank you, means they're going to contact me. Doesn't mean that. You must remember that. Secondly, where is the source acquisition team located? Okay, they are located in Amsterdam and Chennai, and one of the things they do is set up arrangements with publishers to obtain material for indexing in Scopus. Okay? So sometimes you hear someone from Chennai and you know they have a distinct Indian accent, and next minute they hear from someone from Amsterdam with an European accent, and they ask, where are they from? Where are they located? These are some basic common questions. And what's the process between them and the journal editors? Now, the team only has contact with the publishers to source of material, period. That's it. Okay? Will it lead to delays if I send the print version? What do you think? Answer is definitely, because the electronic version, the e-version as we call it, is much preferred and much faster. Last question here, will the print versions be scanned and returned? So we just discard it after throwing. Because we got these are the common questions from most of our talks as we go around the region. Yes.
Suppose editor submits a journal for
Maricor Soriano from UP Diliman. Good afternoon. Suppose an editor submits a journal to Scopus, and let's say the journal is rejected. So can should the editor just quit or resubmit, or what's the procedure for having the journal re-evaluated?
Okay, right now we're actually improving the process of how we actually reply to this. People ask how fast can they resubmit after it's rejected. Okay, but to answer your first question, right? What happens is that when you submit and it's rejected, traditionally we just tell you sorry you've not been accepted. Okay, but right now we are trying to improve that system whereby we'll tell you sorry you've not been accepted. Why? Because you lacked in certain areas. Remember I showed you the STEP score sheet? The STEP score sheet has a category and your sub-criteria, correct? So we'll tell you that okay, you're lacking in areas 2 and 3, for example, plus your citedness is not there, and so on and so forth. So that now we actually have a proactive stance by telling you you've been rejected, plus we tell you how we can actually improve. Okay. Does that answer your question?
Good afternoon. For journals, for example, that have been deleted from the list, like for example, 5 years ago, they were in the list, but now they have been deleted from the list. Is there what will be the procedure if they would like to be in the Scopus?
Thanks for that question. What happened is this. There were some journals that actually were in the list several years back, and you may have noticed that some are actually been extracted from there. Why? Because we've actually gone through with a fine-tooth comb. Remember I was telling you, every year we go through the step process, we try to improve the system. With the improvement of the system and it being automated, okay, right now we actually been transferring from the old to the new system. And what happens is that we are using this new system to filter what has been submitted before. Because why? Some people that come to us and say, look, I don't think this journal is that good, but why is it in there? Mine is not that good. I mean, mine is better, and why is it not in there? So we've actually gone through with a we're still going through with a fine-tooth comb to filter out those journals which we think are substandard or do not make it. Or, you saw the list on there, those that are on the borderline, case of doubt. In this case of doubt, we may extract it, we may resubmit to the subject chef and say, look, can you do us a favor, review these titles. Okay. So, and if it doesn't meet, if it's not up to scratch, it's taken out of Scopus. Why? Because in the long run, we want Scopus to be a quality, place where all the quality journals are indexed, not substandard ones. Right now, yes, we do admit there are a couple of journals that may have slipped through the cracks, but we are going through again to make sure that better ones are there.
How strictly do you apply regularity and timeliness in your evaluation of journals?
Very strictly. We will try to be as flexible as possible, but regularity is one thing which we need to actually look at very carefully. I mean, obviously there are reasons, and we look at the reasons also.
How many issues have to be consecutively published before submission to the journal? Scopus, rather.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the minimum of 3 issues actually. There needs to be a minimum. Evan? Yeah.
Well, maybe I can make a comment on that. For me personally, it depends upon. For me, it would depend upon whether it was a small publisher or a big publisher. So, publisher reputation comes into play there. So, if it's something like Nature, who already has a great reputation, and they decide that they're going to make a new journal, Nature Chicken Technology, then you would probably start covering it right from the start because the publisher has such a great reputation. But if it's some new publisher with a new journal who has no reputation at all, then you have to be a lot more careful. So you would want them to have maybe a record of 2 or 3 or 4 years of publication, just to show that they are going to exist next week or next year.
2 or 3 years of publication with no gap at all.
Yeah.
No gap.
Yes.
For timeliness, for example, the journal appears twice a year, January to June, then July to December, but it's just been posted this February. That doesn't count, or will it be considered?
I mean, that's not sounding too bad to me.
I
mean, you don't want it to be years behind, or you don't want to be skipping whole issues and getting way out of sync.
As I say, though we talk about regularity, we also take it with a pinch of salt also. Though we look at it very carefully, but if you heard it from the horse's mouth, how they actually look at the journals. Okay? That's the reason why we actually have our subject chair here to actually share with you what goes behind the scenes. What do they look at? Yeah, we know that regularity is very important, but is it a big publisher, small publisher? These are the questions which actually we are delving in depth so that you know how the minds of the subject chairs think, right? And there are various criteria that they're looking at. Yes, just one question.
Does it matter to the board if the journal is internally or externally peer reviewed?
It does actually.
You prefer external? What do you prefer? External review?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we need international reviewers across the board. Like I say, if you talk about peer review, we don't want your friend in the next people to be reviewing it. We want it to be international. We want it to be, diverse. Anything, Evan? Any other questions or any questions for Andy?
Yes, for the first speaker. Would you like to add anything else to the discussion?
No, I mean, if you're interested in the criteria and such, I've actually given a copy to Corey. So please follow up. Thank you. Thank you.
One more question. The humanities also represented in the CSAD.
Okay, so I think we're a little bit early because it's 5:03. We're supposed to take a break at 3:15. So are we allowed to eat? We need to exercise. Okay, so maybe formal discussions are better anyway. We should come back at 3:45 to hear the discussion of Dr. Evan here. Okay, so 3:30 instead of 3:45. 3:30.